Before I introduce the next speaker, let's watch this special preview of the documentary film, Theory of Light.
People talk about climate change, but in my country, we are being hit here and now. It's not like we have a lot of time.
We in the Philippines are in the front lines of a lot of climate change issues.
Hindi natin may tatanggi na nandun tayo sa typhoon path. Pag dumating yung disaster, sinong tatamaan? Yung nakatira sa barong-barong.
Floating plastic blocked the drainage, raised the water. This is exactly what caused the floods. How do we take that something that is one of the largest problems, and how do you make it into something that solves things? And I told them, just wait for a while and we will come up with something that you've never seen before.
Noong Disyembre, sa tulong ng proyektong Liter of Light, ay nabigyan ng libreng solar light bulbs ang mga lugar na sinalanta ng Bagyong Yolanda.
These people, they do things with everyday items with this kind of simple idea.
It's a bottle full of water. The light would be able to enter through the bottle and lights up a 35 square meter house.
The user should be the front and center of the design process. Sila yung gagamit eh.
Dati kami nasa madilim dahil gasera nga lang ginagamit namin, bibili pa kami ng gas.
Everything is first world model, but what would a development world model look like?
We have the opportunity to test technologies, and we're doing that. Climate change cannot be small time. We have to think ambitious.
Let's think of it bigger. Can it be possible in every city in the Philippines? And can this be something that can be happening everywhere in the world?
We're going to hear from our official charity partner about making technology accessible for homes in the Philippines, Brazil, Senegal, Mexico, Colombia, and so many other places that need it. And a few years ago when I had him, it was just an idea. It's actually happening, and I couldn't be any prouder for my fellow Filipino. Please welcome the founder of Leader of Light, Illac Diaz.
Thank you very much for this invite. Actually, that movie is celebrating 10 years. When I started out, I had somebody say that, Filipinos, they put us in a picture, dirty with mosquitoes, and I said, that's not the Philippines that I know. I go all around, and he said, yes, but it makes fundraising more difficult to show a happy, healthy person. This was, before this kind of protocols, right? But it's changed. But I said, you know what? I'm going to create a nonprofit that will change the world from the Philippines. And I was, it was from there that 10 years ago I started Litter of Light. And somebody said also that, we could never make a film that could show change from Asia, climate change from Asia, that, we were kind of victims. And so I said, no, you know what? I'm going to make a film about Asians changing the world, because it's about time that we stop being the beneficiary and start being the benefactor. So I'll tell you more about this in a while. Oh, so sorry. So around the world, 1 billion people don't have light. And it exacerbates it when there's this kind of superstorms. So Litter of Light is actually a social enterprise. We did a habitat model where we get corporates, volunteers to purchase the material and give us 30 minutes of their time to build solar lights. And this was because when typhoons hit us, it took 5 months for the lights to actually arrive. But nobody was teaching us that we actually had all the parts there. So we had SunPower, which was one of the largest producers of solar cells in the country. We had LEDs from motorcycles. We had radio parts. And all of this could provide solar lights for the next 5 years, except that it was not, it was not being taught to us. And so what I did was during this storm, I activated about more than 100 companies and said, if you give me your, of course, if you purchase these parts and you give me 30 minutes of your time, we will be able to light up the refugee camps. And of course, a lot of them did not understand. They said, no, we have to get them from China and India. And I said, no, it will take 5 months, plus almost 30% of my cost is just in logistics. But if you build it by hand, we can deliver them next week. And so Liter of Light actually began during that time. Each light, of course, we replace a kerosene lamp with a solar light. Each kerosene lamp every year burns, of course, kerosene. And of course, when we replace it for the next 5 years, they will have 10 hours of light. Sorry, how do I play this? I'm terrible. After the Zoom era, can we just play? Is this playable? Okay. Anyway. What began as a dream and a challenge to come up with an idea from Asia that will change the world, where local communities, instead of importing patented expensive solar lights, has now gone to 32 countries. We affect about 1 million people a year. We don't have a single factory. We produce all the lights in villages. What we do is we get the corporates to build the solar lights, and then we add 25% over that, and then we give the lights for free in villages where they're now able to rent it out. Everything is fixable. The way we maintain more this kind of operations is everything is controlled by women cooperatives. They provide all the street lights in the village, collecting fees from each house, mobile charging systems, and street lights. I just want to show you what it looks like, so it's a bit easier. So the theory really is, if you cannot fix it with a screwdriver, then it's a technology that cannot be repaired, cannot be maintained. So, sorry. So very simple. We have radio parts. We have batteries from vaping machines or chargers, LEDs from motorcycles, and we're known as Liter of Light because we use plastic bottles as our lens. So what happens there is they're able to maintain it, and their husbands, when they go to bring products to the city, they can buy all of these parts. So for more than the 650 women cooperatives all around the world, they can maintain. But what we found out is once you give them the technology without patent, they can replicate. So sometimes we give 100, 200 lights from the corporates, and we come back, there's 1,000, 2,000 lights that they build it themselves. So we found out that it's better to put the scalable technology in human hands, thousands of human hands, than donations. If you can play it, I'm hoping to learn how to do this. Okay, I don't know how to play it. So I wanted to talk to you about our work. Why are we here in PropertyGuru? Well, during COVID, the foundation that was helping more than 1 million people a year, affecting people every year, almost crashed because corporates did not allow us into their office. And so what we did was, I was watching this film called Pay It Forward, where somebody does good, and instead of paying him back, the other person does good towards other people. So stuck in my home, basically we had this, thousands of parts. We started sending them in a bag to my relatives. And I said, hey, can you give me 30 minutes of your time, build it, and then we will donate it. The reason for this is tourists stopped coming to the villages. And many of the tourism villages survived with tourist money buying kerosene so that they can keep their villages lit. And suddenly the tourists were gone. So I wanted to stop it, but many of the villages started asking me for more lights. So we came up with this thing called Light It Forward. And what happened is we challenged people, like an ice bucket challenge. One person builds the light in 30 minutes, then puts it on internet. puts it online, and then challenges somebody else. And what happened was amazing. We grew from 1 to 5,000 people every month building solar lights from inside their home. Corporates, schools, they were stuck inside their house. And it became actually very viral. And instead of clanging pots or shouting on the roofs in Europe, we said, why don't we use property that was not being used, national parks, large-scale roads that were not being used, and make them into the largest human billboards in the world. So we started making artworks with the thousands of lights before donating it to the villages. It was beautiful because people from around the city, all the kids, all the students trapped in their homes were now doing each light, and each light would of course be an artwork, but each pixel of light there would later light up a family's life for the next 5 years. So despite having the worst COVID, we made some of the largest impact in the world. Later on, they asked us to make the largest tweet in the world. So some of them said, we can't gather, but we can make messages to inspire other people. So we started taking national parks, monuments, and started making these tweets to inspire young people. What's interesting is Europe started calling us and say, hey, we're also stuck here. Can you also get our young people so this is 500 young people making the lights, and then of course we would set them up. They wouldn't go there, but we set it up. So we started making this largest tweet. Is there no way to play it? Sorry, I really don't know how to do it from here. Is there any way to play the thing? It's my second one, but no, cannot play. Okay. I just wanted to show you our recent work. So in Africa, we make the lights out of pottery. And what happens is we employ a lot of women that lost their jobs because plastic replaced pottery. And so we make them out of, all of it is hand-built. But we teach them to make the same circuits inside the pottery. And what's nice there is I got 2,000 students to be able to make the circuits. And I just actually came from there. This is the pyramids of Giza. And each light is built by a student. And each student had a message for the world leaders about the world they want to live in. And of course, the nice thing about these things are automatically at night they would light up. So we made the largest artwork in all of Africa, but all built by human hands. We really want the power of sustainability to be with people that need it the most, not something that is imported, patented, and expensive. And what happens is they actually break down. They actually break down in about a year and a half. So sometimes you see donors donate, 1 million lights, but they never tell you that in a year and a half or 2 years, it's built with microcircuits, no way for the villagers to fix, so they have to throw it away and then go into debt to borrow it again. So as we move to sustainability, it has to also be sustainable technology. If it cannot, as I said, cannot be repaired by a single screwdriver, then it is not sustainable. In fact, if it's not replicable and scalable without you, the purest form of sustainability is if you make yourself obsolete. And so I wanted to show you our next project. So this is something that I consulted for. I wanted to make the largest artwork in the world. Of course, I built them first with cars. I put stickers on the top of the cars. And then when I'm from MIT, and in MIT, the urban planning is right next to the Aero Astro. And so a lot of my friends would be in the NASA division, and now they're in NASA. So when the International Space Station flew above the artwork, they took pictures of it. And so this is the largest artwork in the world. But for climate change conference in in UAE. I'm going to build something 3 times bigger and then have it photographed by the space station again. But what's nice about our artwork is all of the lights are later donated. So they're not just for show. They actually work. They're actually built by hand. So as I said, it's human powered and they actually make a big difference. So the film is about that, starting from the Philippines in one of the darkest moments, and later on having a staff of 212 in 32 countries. Of course, they never told me that to change the world, it would be so difficult. They always say, change the world, change the world. They actually never told me about cultures, languages, people management. But today, from the Philippines, with technology that can be replicated, it has affected so many people. So thank you very much for PropertyGuru for allowing me to speak here. Okay, thank you very much.